So, as many of y'all probably know, the iconic figure, impactful figure, celebrity, Shonen Jump artist, creator of Dr. Slump, Sandland, and what people infamously know him for, the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, has unfortunately passed away on March 1st, 2024, due to acute subdural hematoma. And it's like it's been a few days since his passings, and you know the entire world is impacted by his loss. It's hitting everybody hard by his loss. The Dragon Ball community especially is impacted by his loss, and I personally am impacted by his loss. And it's like one of those things where it's like at first you just don't believe it. You say to yourself, it's not real. Like, it can't be real. It must be fake. It must be they must have got it wrong. Whatever. And then you had to come with the realization that this is true reality. This is real. And the fact that it's by the studio that Akira Toriyama worked for, Bird Studios, and it's on the official Dragon Ball website, you cannot call that a hoax. I remember like it was yesterday, because it wasn't yesterday, but it was 2 days ago when they announced it. It was around 10:46, 45, 48 maybe. It was late at night, and I was on my phone scrolling through Twitter, just minding my own business or doing whatever. And then I saw that DBS Hype came out with the unfortunate news. And when I read it, I thought, when I saw Akira Toriyama say, I'm like, okay, something happened. Maybe it may not be anything detrimental, but something did happen. Maybe something cool, bad, whatever. And then I saw that it said that he passed away. I read those words, and my immediate reaction was shock. And what happened? What caused this? How did this happen? And I went on to read the article and stuff like that, and it was like, what? He's actually dead. And I don't know, it just didn't feel right. But like I said earlier, we had to come to terms with the reality that this has happened. Akira Toriyama has officially passed away. He has actually passed away, and it's sad, it's heartbreaking, and it's hurting me, it's hurting my friends, and it's hurting the entire world. ABC News covered it, BBC News covered it, so many sports channel covered it. Heck, I didn't even know celebrities and people who knew Dragon Ball or didn't really have any interest in Dragon Ball. I didn't even know they had those kind of interests until Akira Toriyama's death. That goes to show you how impactful, how important of a figure, of an icon Dragon Ball was as a whole, and how impactful Akira Toriyama was as a whole. He had so much enthusiasm when working on Dragon Ball projects before he passed, and I even expressed I expressed it a lot, in my Goku Day video, how I was really grateful for the character of Goku, what he stood for, how he represented the show as a whole, and I even directly thanked Akira Toriyama for making the character and this entire series, and I can't thank him enough. I said in my Goku Day video that if it wasn't for Dragon Ball, a huge part of my life, a huge part of my existence, there's not, I wouldn't say existence, but like an aspect of who I am today, would not have exist if it was not for Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball, as many of you guys was the first anime that brought me into Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was the anime that made shonen, that made mangas what it is today. Dragon Ball inspires so many people, is so belovedly loved upon millions upon millions upon millions of people. It's so inspiring to many people. It was so inspirational that even off-branching franchises like Sonic the Hedgehog took inspirations from Dragon Ball because of how inspiring it was. There's Naruto was really created from the inspiration of Dragon Ball. So was One Piece. So many people I even seen a couple of manga panels from different types of action genre like animes that literally they rip off or like take exact panels, exact replicas of Dragon Ball mangas, literally. And it's like it's like it just goes to show you how impactful this creator was and how powerful his art was, and if we're going to get into what the series even meant, might as well, because people mostly know him for his work on Dragon Ball. When I saw Dragon Ball for the first time, it was something to a great extent new to me, because I've seen before heroes kind of get bodied by the villains and stuff like that, but not to the extent that I saw in Dragon Ball. And I didn't have the oomph, that impactful, that punch that Dragon Ball did, as opposed to the others. Dragon Ball has that punch, that oomph to it, and it really opened up a side, an aspect of me that I never thought was there. And in recent times, rewatching the show, listening to other people's opinions and takes, having my own opinions and takes of the show, stuff like that, etc., etc., I realized not only how impactful it was on an entertainment level, but at a symbolic level, a allegorical level, a metatextual level, a literal level, even an inspirational lens, right? And inspired, like every time I work out, sometimes even home workout, I usually play Dragon Ball related music or have something Dragon Ball related, because it was what inspired me to go to the gym, to build my physicality. It what inspired me to try to practice martial arts. And let's be real, man, we've all tried to go Super Saiyan in our bathroom, in our bedrooms, at least once. We all pretended to be a Dragon Ball character, or Goku, or to be a person in the Dragon Ball world who had Dragon Ball powers. We all pretended that we all thought we could go like, we could do the Kamehameha. Like, it's just incredible how impactful, how magnificent of a masterpiece Dragon Ball is. A lot of my friends, such as Streak, Hayuka, Goten, Jay, Armizi, so many of these people, even people I know physically, like Travis _ V40 or Dappa _ V40, as y'all know him for, right? Some of my other friends, we all became friends and knew and like were really heavily close together because of Dragon Ball. I met so many of my friends because of Dragon Ball. I had so many topics because of Dragon Balls. A lot of the things I do is because of Dragon Ball. Heck, most of my channel is made up of Dragon Ball content. That's how loving and caring I am about Dragon Ball. That's how impactful it is to me. And for what it did for me in my life, it, like I said in my Goku Day video, that it came at a time where I didn't necessarily needed it, but the fact that I got it and understood it is what helped me through the upcoming years, that I will always fall back on Dragon Ball. Maybe not directly, but indirectly I would. Sometimes I directly, but the point still stands. It helped me through so many stuff, and inspired me and it motivated me to do a lot of things. And to just see the masterful crafting and the storytelling within the characters, the setting, the visuals, the action itself, the choreography, many highlighted. Heck, Dragon Ball Z on its own, as old as it is, it's reaching almost 30-40 years old. It's still talked about to this day. It's still regarded, highlighted. People talk about old fights, like Goku vs Frieza. The first time they fought, that was so long ago. That was in 1991. And people still talk about that fight because of how impactful it was. it just goes to show you how mainstream Dragon Ball was and is to this day. And there, and not even just the Goku versus Frieza fight. We had the Goku versus Majin Vegeta fight, Goku versus Vegeta fight in the first arc, right? Piccolo versus Android 17, Gohan versus Cell, Goku versus Cell, Vegeta versus Cell, Trunks versus the androids. So many battles have occurred, and it's like it's you realize how important this series was, and how it really impacted and put a huge play in a lot of people's life, mine included. I remember many times off camera, on camera, I'll just talk about Dragon Ball with my friends on the game or in real life. We would just talk about Dragon Ball. I remember whenever I used to go to school back when I was in 8th grade, every morning I would go to the computer room or the computer classroom or lab with my friend that was like across the hall from my homeroom, and my friend and I and my other friend, we would just get on our phones and start playing Dragon Ball Legends. And I remember whenever I would get on the game and I was with my homies, we always played Xenoverse 2, Fighter Z. We talked about Dragon Ball related stuff. My whole entire Dragon Ball R.I.P series was made because I loved how much I loved Dragon Ball. And it's like, you realize how impactful one person is when he created something that really connects to you. If I were to pick one specific project, media, anything that can embodied relatability, inclusion, representation, without having to add multi stuff by just one person who doesn't even speak the same language as you, who probably doesn't even live in the same area as you, heck, who's a different age, different color, different etc., but can still embody representation, inclusion, coming together despite your race, background, financial standpoint, whatever. It had to be Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball affected so many people. It is one of the top 2 maybe most welcome events in Latin in Mexico. Like, people in like the Hispanic culture, they love Dragon Ball. They literally have people sign up, they line up at like in the middle of the entire streets just to watch Dragon Ball on the screen. That's how impactful it is. Dragon Ball was the first ever animated collab on Fortnite to even feature official Dragon Ball episodes. No anime collab before and after did that. Only Dragon Ball had that, at least up to now. Only Dragon Ball had that. You realize how impactful that is? And to just see the characters like Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, etc., just fighting and training and pushing their limits beyond, and obviously overcoming highly anticipated odds that to us feels like a waste of time. It's hopeless. The perfect example could be Goku versus Frieza before he went Super Saiyan and before he did Spirit Bomb. We legit thought that the fighters was going to die because Frieza was just so powerful. We felt hopeless. They felt hopeless, helpless, and yet somehow the power of what they have, friendship, hope, and companionship, they managed to beat overcoming odds. And it's like so inspiring, and it teaches you so much about discipline, perseverance, power through struggle, and hard work. Dragon Ball wasn't just a story about people who loved to fight. It was a story about discipline, philosophical ideologies, to be like water, in a way, companionship, love, trust, power through struggle, discipline, perseverance, to never give up, strive for your goals. It was a story about a boy who met a random teenage girl in the woods that started off an adventure all for one single ball. That's the story of Dragon Ball. And that's the impact it had off of that one little story. And if it was not for Akira Toriyama's creative mind, if it was not for his wife, because you guys be sleeping on his wife, bro. His wife is the reason why Dragon Ball is even existing. Because when Akira Toriyama and his lead producer came over to Akira's house at around 12 to 4 a.m. in the morning, and they were in the room just thinking about what to do, his wife came in with tea for both of them and reminded Akira how he always used to watch old kung fu movies while writing and drawing Dr. Slump, which gave Akira and his lead producer, or his lead assistant, the idea for the next big shonen, to make it kung fu or action based. And that is what spawned Dragon Ball. Heck, his wife, Akira's wife, is the reason why most of the names of iconic moves are even popular. She made up the names of the Kamehameha, the Gala Gun, the Genki Dama, right? All these names, and it's to give credit to both Akira himself and his wife, and I can never thank Akira enough, man. The gratitude I have for him is it's incredible, man. It's immaculate. I hope that, I pray by God's will that he is in heaven right now, and one day we will meet again, because he's one of those people I would definitely love to meet. And I think overall, Dragon Ball just teaches you about to be real, to fight your inner demons, to come over the top. And that aspect alone, I feel like it gets slept over a little bit to an extent, because we see those a good chunk of times. The most reasonable and prominent example is with Gohan in the Cell Saga, when he's at half his full power. His arm is disabled. He can't use his arm. He only has one arm left, and he's all defeated. He has self-doubt. His inner demons start to take in. He starts to lose hope, and Goku comes in like the champ he is, clutching up for his own son, telling him so many things that we all needed to hear. It wasn't our fault. What we did was probably the best we could have done. That's not the person I know. The person I know would never give up so easily. And he just never give up. Put all you have into that last attack, that last push. And it was just that moment that really also symbolized and is an embodiment of that aspect of Dragon Ball, which is the fire and demons. We all have demons inside of us. Some of us are fighting through ours. Heck, I'm fighting through my demons and through my personal internal problems as we speak. And I would touch upon the problem I'm going through in this stage in the future when I'm probably older and I can stabilize it. Foreshadowing. But until that time comes, the point still stands that we all have demons. And it can be a struggle to fight them. It can be a struggle to be able to topple over it, get on top of it, persevere over it, and just suppress it, destroy it, break it down, so that way you can come up. And what's up is not just you, but a new light, a new goal, a new set of mindset, a new philosophical self. You're not replaced with your doubts. You're replaced with hope, ambition, dreams, visions. And I think that's what Dragon Ball is also about. Fighting your inner demons, overcoming self-doubt to reach the true potential you have inside you, power. And I think that's what we all need at the end of the day. To overcome self-doubt our inner demons to overcome that, to learn discipline, perseverance, power through struggle, strength, and most importantly, hard work. Because it was through hard work as well. That's what got them so far. It's what got us so far. And I don't know what to say, but just that. Dragon Ball has been a major staple in the entirety of this world. And a world without Dragon Ball would be very, very different. Most likely for the worse and the better. So I just want to thank all of you guys. I just want to thank the anime community. I just want to thank Dragon Ball for being in existence, Joanna Drake Akira's wife, Toei, all these people. And if you don't like Dragon Ball or hate or despise it or even don't like it at all and think other animes are better than it, you cannot deny its impact on the world and on anime as a whole. And you at least have to respect the creator and his work. So I just, like, again, as I was saying, thank you guys, thank God indeed, thank Kira's wife, thank Toei, thank everybody in the world and shonen and anime, and especially thank you Akira Toriyama for bringing us the best you can ever bring us, a masterpiece. May you rest in peace, and until we meet again, thank you.